helping you to weather good and bad economies without putting retirement on hold. This is the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo. Ken and his son Nick know that creating a comprehensive financial plan can align your hard-earned life savings with your retirement goals. Consider them your retirement architects. Now, the Tumolo Financial Podcast with Ken and Nick Tumolo.
In a world of 24-hour news cycles, headlines, social media, people can just say what they want, whenever they want. And for so many of us trying to do better by ourselves, by our families for the years ahead, it's kind of like, well, which one is it? Like, how do we know what's right, what's wrong? Well, the bottom line is, and you guys point this out every single week, is it's different for everybody. That's why you always say it's great to hear success stories from your friends, your neighbors, your coworkers, but their success might not be what makes you successful. And that's why Ken and Nick are always saying, give us a call, come in for your own Tumolo Financial Retirement Checkup, because it's different for every single person that comes into the office. So again, that number you're dialing, 860-854-3434. You can also go to tfcheckup.com. And then after you get off that website, go over to whatever travel website you can find. Nick and I were joking before coming on the air. After all the snow that's been dumped on everybody here, I was saying this close to looking at my husband and moving to Mexico. Despite all the headlines coming out of Mexico, guys, it's just like there's no place for respite, it feels.
Yeah, it's too much snow. It's been a brutal winter. Just check the inches. I think we're over 50 inches now in Groton.
Rude.
So I think everyone in Connecticut's kind of done with it. I know there might be another few inches next week, but I'm hoping after that we're done.
I don't know, Nick. I've had a few clients come in for reviews, and they're excited about the snow. It's the skiers. They love it. So. I don't love it so much.
I know. There are some people, you're right. I mean, there are some people that love it. Different strokes for different folks, and there are people all over the country. Shoot, there are people living in Alaska that are 50 inches of snow, you're adorable. So, but thinking about vacations, thinking about the things that we want to do with our lives, our personal time when it comes to retirement, hopefully it's going to be a happy 20, 30-year vacation. But of course, there is planning that's involved in order to make it happy, to make it fruitful, the work that you guys do every single day in the office. And that's where I want to begin is our mindset, our perspective as we enter this next phase of our life. Because if we think certain things, it could actually lead us down the wrong path. And that's what's happening to a lot of us. There was this article on gobaconrates.com talking about, there's 7 in particular assumptions that they say many of us make about retirement that actually can cause problems for us. This list includes, you won't live into your 90s. You'll stay healthy the whole time. Your expenses will decrease. Markets will stay constant. Inflation will remain low. You'll be able to work, which that makes me crazy. Like, what? You're supposed to be retired, and you'll get an inheritance, which also makes me worried. That's like playing the lottery, I feel like, a little bit. But of these assumptions, what do you guys see? Do you agree with this list? Are there more that you would add to this list as far as what we assume about retirement versus what actually happens and what could be detrimental?
Yeah, and Nick and I, we do an educational workshop at some of the colleges and libraries. And it's funny when we're talking about, Nick, I think this is the one when we start to talk about taxes, and it brings up some of these topics. Because one of the things is taxes, it's not on that.
Okay.
But assumptions can get you into trouble. And I can't tell you how many times someone has come in, visited with us. I read this article and it said, as long as I draw this, I'll be okay. And yeah. And so it leaves everything out of it. Because think about it, and like, we'll run a plan. And one of the biggest things we do is that retirement checkup.
Yeah.
And let's just say a couple comes in, they visit with us. And if they draw their money one way and they just read an article, hey, you could draw X number of dollars per month and you'll be just fine. And they draw the money one way, it might cost them $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in taxes for the year. Whereas if they draw the money a different way because they have different types of accounts and we average down taxes, they might only pay $1,000 in taxes. And I'm making up numbers here. But the big thing is now you start to look at it. Would you rather pay $5,000 in taxes or $1,000 in taxes? Most people will say 1,000.
Right.
Where's that other 4,000? It's still in your account. So when you're getting your return and the market's moving up and down, but hopefully up more often than not, at least you're gaining on that money that's left behind. So you have more money working for you.
Got it.
And a lot of times, Nick and I will talk about the small changes because most of our listeners and us, it's the small changes that add up, especially going into retirement. You talk about the tax piece of it. You talk about the fact that, like one of the things you mentioned, inflation in there. When we basically run it, our projections, we run it with inflation. We build that in. But the other thing is one thing that we've noticed with retirees in the beginning, they'll come out of the gate spending about what they spend before they retire. And I'm going to stress that's so important.
Yeah.
Because the books that I read, I'm a certified financial planner, and the books that I read back years ago, a lot of them would use the 80% rule and say, someone goes into retirement, they spend about 80% of what they spent before they retired. It's not true.
These were your educational books that you were reading when you were becoming a CFP. And now through your experience, you're here to say that even the books have it wrong.
Yeah. I mean, that's textbook. Going to a college, and that's what I was reading.
Wow.
And I found it completely untrue.
Wow.
Most of the time, people spend about the same as what they're spending while they're working as when they first retire, if not more, because they do a few things that they wanted to do.
Yeah.
So you have to build in the inflation piece of it, and every year bring up that spending.
Okay.
But one thing that does happen as clients start to approach 80, their spending starts to cool. And we're all human. It happens. We do less things. We eat a little less. The part that might get us later on in the future is healthcare. That's the part that might get us as far as expenses going up, and it won't get everyone.
Yeah.
So you have to factor in all this. I mean, the tax piece of it. I can't tell you how many times I've got a client that came in when we first started working for him, and she came in. And we built out a plan, right? And the plan didn't work. It was based on her 401k, what she saved in the bank account, and so forth. And the numbers just didn't work. And constantly, every review, I'm getting an inheritance. I'm getting an inheritance. The inheritance at one time was up to $1 million. Now the inheritance, maybe I'm getting 300. She hasn't gotten the inheritance yet.
Oh, still to this day?
No. And I told her when we build the plan, and we did her plan exactly this way, we counted on no inheritance.
Okay.
And the reason why is you just don't know.
That's right.
I can't tell you how many stories that I've heard where someone said to me, my mom and dad are in long-term care. They think they're passing money on to me, but I know they're not because it's all going towards the care. And it's just that the planning wasn't done. There wasn't planning done to protect the money.
Okay.
So it's all going to care.
Because is there ways to protect if you do want to leave a legacy, but you do need long-term care? There are ways to add protection so that both can happen?
There's multiple ways.
Okay.
You talk about one way doesn't work for everyone. It just doesn't in this case.
Right.
Some people will go the insurance route because they like insurance and they qualify for it. Some people go the trust route, which is a legal way. It's actually a lot cheaper than the insurance way.
Okay.
Some people do nothing at all. And some people will just self-fund the whole thing. And we do have a solution for that too. So everyone is different. It's about moving the funds along efficiently and then protecting what you can. The one most important thing, and people don't always think about this, it's still about the person that retired or the couple that retired. They still have to keep something so they go into a nice place later on. And I'm stressing that because one of my clients the other day said to me, I never want to go into the place where my mom is. And she's in long-term care. And he goes, I got to keep money carved aside so I can buy into a better place if I end up like my mom. And that's a tough thing to hear. It's deep down, he's like, I'd love to pay for my mom and put her in a better place, but my brothers and sisters won't even chip in for it. And so they're stuck, counting on the state to pay where his mom is.
Okay.
So I hear these, the sad stories, I hear the good stories, but a lot of these assumptions, really it has to start with that retirement checkup. And we do it complimentary for our listeners. And a lot of the strategies work well if someone has $500,000 or more, because you can actually run some tax planning in it. But our number, 860-854-3434, or just visit us online at tfcheckup.com and book an appointment right there.
I was actually thinking about that taxes just when you brought it up in the beginning. I was like, that's our first slide going through the taxes. Everyone always assumes your taxes are going to be lower when you get to retirement. But I want to go over one of the other ones because I actually think all 7 are important. But one of them that I always see is the market will stay consistent or constant. Mm-hmm. That's just not the case. We've seen it. And I know we haven't had a major recession in almost 20 years now. 07, 08 was the last one.
Yep.
And then there's a couple little blips lately, 2020, 2022, but they end up bouncing back. And the big thing I always tell people is those first 10 years of retirement are the most crucial years of your retirement. Mm-hmm. You're going to do the most. You're going to travel. You're going to go hang out with your grandkids. You're going to go whatever your hobby is, go play golf every day. And you want to do those things no matter if the market's up or down. And we don't know when the next recession is. Everyone acts and says, oh, yeah, the Republicans, the Democrats are going to cause the recession. We don't know. It could happen anytime. That 07, 08 one happened during both presidencies. Some people think they always blame each other. I think it's kind of a little bit of both. And you start looking at those things and you're like, okay, we need to make sure that we're okay no matter what. Mm-hmm. So a lot what I see with the market is that fear of missing out, FOMO. Mm-hmm. And so when I start talking to people, I want to make sure that, like I said, doing the things they want to do in retirement. What are your goals? What do you want to do? Do you want to buy a second house? And it's about having some safe opportunities in there so that when that market goes down, you're not stopping doing those things. So I actually had someone come in last week, and she was talking about actually the 08 recession. And I actually don't get that a lot from a lot of people. A lot of people are like, that is so long ago. It's not going to happen again. I get that more often, which is surprising. But she was bringing it up, and she was just saying, like, she actually was someone that got hit really hard with it. She had a dip in her 401k. She said about almost half of her 401k was gone by just dipping into it. That wasn't even just the market correction. That was her going into it because of hard times, unemployment. She got her house repossessed and stuff like that too. So she had a horrible time with it. And she's like, Nick, I don't want this happening when I go into retirement. And I don't know when that next recession is going to be. How do I protect myself? But she also was talking about, I want a little bit of gains, of course, too, in the market. I don't want to be completely out of the market. So it's a balancing act. That's what I tell a lot of people, whether you're conservative or aggressive. I like to talk about both sides on that. You still want to get some gains, but you want to protect yourself. So you're doing those things. So building out that Tumolo retirement checkup, that's where you kind of start looking at it. What's your lifestyle cost you? Because that's where I start kind of figuring out, okay, how much do we need in that safe portion so that on that market side, we can kind of base it a little more about your risk tolerance. And if you like more of the ups and downs of the market on that market side, but you have some of that safety in case that recession happens, you're still okay with it. You're like, you know what? I'm fine with that bouncing around a little bit more because I like the risk. I like enjoying the markets. And I have it both ways. So you want to make sure that plan works for you, because a lot of times I see people come in with their 401ks and they just got set up 10, 20 plus years ago in those target funds, or they talk to a Fidelity or some other type of manager and they're like, oh yeah, you're in this box. We're just going to keep you in there, set it, forget it. Mm-hmm. You don't want to do that. Retirement's different. So you want to look at your investments, make sure that they're properly allocated for retirement for the next 10 years, because like I said, that's the most crucial years, the beginning of retirement. So building out that Tumolo retirement checkup, we do a complimentary for our qualified callers. Our phone number is 860-854-3434, or you go to our website at tfcheckup.com.
Investment advice offered through Tumolo Wealth Management, a Connecticut-registered investment advisor. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here.